bordering Tiati along that area. Yet we feel that they also needed a sub-county, and you've heard it being said so many times by the leaders of Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, so that we can cushion Elgeyo Marakwet from the attacks from Tiati, since if you leave the other side bare, and we know the sub-county headquarters from that place is very far. So it means that the whole burden is left to the sub-county and the security personnel in the side of Elgeyo Marakwet to deal with it. So if you can also give them a sub-county, it will be a plus, and it will actually help to reduce the attacks from the Tiati. They will prevent the bandits from crossing this side, and in case the bandits from this other side cross to the other side, there will be security personnel to counter. Number two, you have had a weakness. It might be a weakness, but a strength maybe, you think, of not engaging elected leaders. And many a times we always watch you on television that you have visited Elgeyo Marakwet, you were there and we were not there. I wish to request you that we also have some knowledge, we also have some influence, and we also have expectations. Our people expect us to see that we are talking about it and we are engaging with you. Kindly, if there is a leader who wronged you so that you might not want to engage them often, I'm different. At least engage me and other leaders of like-minded. But nonetheless, it might have been your strength, but at some point, it can also be a weakness. Once in a while, we will not need you every week. If you do it once in 3 months, we will appreciate. Another question is, we have police stations in Elgeyo Marakwet. There's those children in Chemista Primary School have themselves and God in heaven to protect them. I tried talking to the Commandant Limo, and he's doing a superb job. He's trying. But I realized also, maybe he has a strain of the number of officers, maybe, that he can actually share. I am pleading with you, and I'm requesting that kindly, CS, if you can find around 5 officers, because that is a very expansive area, and you know it is along the escarpment, it is in the Hanging Valley, and it is actually a very good entry for bandits to Embolot Ward. I am kindly requesting if you can consider gazettemen of that police station, or in the meantime, kindly post policemen to do the cushioning in that area. Number 3, there is also, when that particular person is called Stephen was shot, people collected a lot of cartridges. I would like to know how far is the investigation of that particular one. And in Elgeyo Marakwet, since January, we have lost 26 people. And none of them has been investigated. If they are doing the investigation, it is within, they have not shared with that, and no one knows, including the family members, that something or anything is happening. So kindly, CS, please, what are you doing about it? We need to see investigations. At least if the cartridges are there, they can be established so that we can know the source of the ammunition that the bandits are using. Last, additional NPR CS. Actually, the NPR are doing a good job. In fact, that particular area, the reason as to why, maybe in the recent past, a few weeks ago, there has been numerous attacks, is because our NPR are undergoing training somewhere, and the area has been left bare. NPR has proved to be positive, and there is a good progress since we were given additional NPR. If you can still add us NPR, I'm not talking about Elgeyo Marakwet alone, but also my neighbors, maybe West Pokot and Tiati, if they can get a beef up of NPR, that will be okay, and we will appreciate an additional NPR, the CS. So thank you so much. If there is something that you can respond to it, I'll be more glad. Thank you.
So I'm watching on the clock. So maybe
thank you very much.
At 1 minute.
Chairman, I think with your indulgence, the last question on Marsabit, a lot has been done by the ministry already. And last week, with the leaders of Marsabit were able to, all of us, including the governor and the senator, we sat with the minister. And a lot of work has been done on the ground. So for that reason, because of time, we can reschedule that. Maybe we handle the question of Honorable Kainan. But before I leave the mic, I want to say the following between Turkana and West Pokot. I was privileged to lead the committee that went to West Pokot and to Turkana. And I think Waziri, what is really disconcerting is when you go to Turkana and West Pokot, it's as if you are between two countries, that other side, this other side. And I think during your tenure as the Minister for Interior, that notion must disappear. This is Kenya and these are Kenyans. The idea of this imaginary boundary, as if these are two neighboring states, must really be done away with. How should that happen? One, there must be intensification of coordination between the Ngao from both sides, the Turkana, so that they do regular meetings to make sure that these issues of raids and counter raids actually must be eliminated. The second issue is this issue of expansion by arms, where one community is able to expand into the area of the other. And what I have seen is that the Ngao officers, they generally know the administrative boundary, but they intentionally refuse to pronounce themselves to that, which I believe is a serious omission. And they must say that this location you have gazetted is in another area, so that you don't do it. Because when you are in the office, when you approach you, I think you do a lot of things in good faith, that you trust the leaders who are sitting here. Finally, there was something about identified criminals. Criminals are identified by name, where they are involved in this raid, that raid, but they are not being actually caught and brought before the law. It is just names with the CID, the police, and all that. And to an extent, these are things which have allowed impunity to reign large, so that the members or the communities do not feel that we have been left to our own devices. Let us arm to protect ourselves. The issue of NPR, I think going forward, while it is doing good for now, it is not solution to Kenya's security as a sovereign state that is able to protect its internal borders. It simply means we must invest in the police services. Thank you, Chair.
Members, kindly, I had earlier told you that the Waziri will be attending another meeting, which is already like 40 minutes late. I will kindly ask you, kindly.
Chair, I just wanted to...
Because we had already, like I know the member, kindly.
Mine, Chair, was just to commend, but also you sent me to West Pokot on Saturday, and we were expecting Waziri there. And people are very mad. They said he has not been to West Pokot since he entered the docket. I don't know whether the second time, but Waziri, it's just a request that despite the events of June and July, which indeed seem to have I don't know whether that's the reason you've slowed down your pace. Waziri, keep up.
So kindly, Waziri, I'm really feeling guilty of the other member. They actually even writing me a lot of text messages.
If you
so just
protect
respond in a minute.
me, I'm okay, because your sister committee, the Committee on Defense, He's been waiting for me, and
Maybe something what they said,
but
then we address the last thing. If
Yeah.
you are in agreement,
Yeah.
we can defer the issue of Kenya-Ethiopian border.
actually we had a very healthy discussion.
Yes.
I've told them where we are.
Yeah.
I was even a bit uncomfortable
Yeah, it's true,
for
I know.
us to air it out, but the member can brief the other members because of certain sensitivities. But we are making very good progress.
Member being not there and being a member actually from the same area and in confidence is really shared what the ground that has been covered. We can leave that one. If need be, we reschedule. So just comment on what they said. And lastly now, you know, we have the big issue of the missing MCA for, which one is that? Dela. I know you did give a response. I read in the House.
Yeah, before
but
he
I
does
think-
it, can I respond very quickly in 2 minutes? All the other issues that have been raised by member for Loima and the member for Elgeyo Marakwet and my brother, the member for Teso North. The one on Marsabit, if we reschedule, I will request we do it in camera. The other one on the issues raised by the member for Loima, I think I need to engage you a little more. And I'm sorry for confusing me with your brother from Turkana South. Thank you for what you're doing. We'll continue supporting that initiative by the leadership. I will have an engagement with you. We see what adjustments we can make on the deployments of our officers there so that we tighten up the space. With regard to the member from Elgeyo Marakwet, she raised quite a number of issues. We have operationalized Kerio Central, Kerio Valley sub-county, which now is helping. Koloa is next, or Tiati Central. Actually, at 1 p.m., I'm meeting the member for Tiati in the office, just to finalize a number of things. So we are on process, and we want to be fair and because it's about the country, it's not one side against another. And that brings me to the other issue raised by the vice chair of this committee. Some of the challenges we face from communities and leaders as security people is this territorial notion about, like there's an extreme territorial independence notion which actually works against the long-term national interests of having a united, indivisible country. Unless we moderate our, of course, community interests with national interests, we are going to make it impossible for the people of Kenya to move, work, live, and interact with the rest of people. And that's a discussion this committee and us as the policy makers needs to engage in before it runs us out of town. When I travel to northern Kenya, I find many communities. I find Somalis, I find Wakamba people, I find Kikuyus, and they are working, they are doing their things, and there are no many issues. But when we amplify and look as if those people don't need to be there, and that's not where they're supposed to be, then we are endangering the long-term interests of the nation. That's something we can have a discussion on in a more long-term manner. And that underpins some of the struggles we are having in the banditry-prone areas. And administrative boundaries need to be clear, I agree, for purposes of administration and services, but not to say this is the county for this community versus the county for this community. That's dangerous for the country. And so I agree that when I took over the ministry in phase 1, the situation in northern Kenya, Boni Forest, was extremely volatile, and I made very many trips without involving local leaders, deliberately. First, it was very emotive. It was also very risky, some of the places I was going, and therefore it was not feasible. Okay, it was not feasible. But I think right now we're in a good place. The operation is still on, but then the intensity, the volatility is less. I would be more than happy to have leaders together with us so that they own the process and help us expedite some of the interventions we are making. By that time, it was not possible completely. And also, you know, when you have serious security issues, political leaders tend sometimes to support some of their people because some of the criminals also have votes. But I know responsible leaders will always say, vote or no vote, community and country first. And therefore, we will be involving leaders going forward a little more, maybe not in all cases, because some visits are operational in nature. They do not even, sometimes I've been in your county and I will not have a public engagement with members of the public at all. I'll visit the teams in the front line, have a discussion with them around operations and leave. But I hear you. Then on the question of that police station, please, Mheshimiwa, please write what you want done to me. It will be done. We will do what you want done. On the question of how far we are on the investigations, I was not anticipating this. Maybe I can find out, and as we engage, I can update you on this particular matter, because it was not part of the statements I've been asked to respond on today. On more NPRs, I agree, and I also agree with the Vice Chair that the long term is to make sure the police, not the reservists, the police secure the nation. But at the moment, as a short-term measure, the NPRs, because of the advantages which were identified, are doing a good job. We are constrained. We cannot give all the requests. I know Marsabit has a request, Wajir has a request, Tana River has a request, but we'll try and make sure that we continue enhancing the capacity of NPRs. Then that's on NPRs, and then there was the issue of, from again the Vice Chair of the committee on criminals who are known, action not being taken. Actually, we've made a lot of progress. Example is Elgeyo Marakwet. We had 7 bandit commanders who were responsible for mayhem in Elgeyo Marakwet. And right now we are looking for only 2. The others are in court. The others fell as they tried to shoot at our officers. So we've made a lot of progress. It's only that security communication is sensitive. And I can, if I sit with the leaders, I'll tell you, we had on our radar 7 major organizers of banditry. We are now looking for 3. 4 are either in court with cases ongoing. Others, when they were engaging the police officers, they were neutralized. I agree there is more to be done. Completely. There is more to be done, because unless you destroy the network of the enablers of sophisticated crime, you will be doing something and repeating yourself and over again. Finally, the member for Teso North, who did not declare interest, that he was also my student sometime. You know, it's good to declare so that so that you are not accused of bias. I've been to West Pokot 3 times, but not after my reappointment, before. I can say this without fear of contradiction. I have visited all the 47 counties of the Republic of Kenya, some multiple times, some 7, 11, 14, 20. The highest is Lamu, where I have been 21 times in 21 months, mainly in operational visits and covert visits, very few public. So I have been to West Pokot. I have provided NPRs for West Pokot County, a good number. They were trained, deployed, just as I've done for Elgeyo Marakwet and other counties. And maybe the leaders were saying after my reappointment, they wanted me to come. Last week, I was told I was expected somewhere. I was not invited. I didn't get the invitation. I was just told I was being expected somewhere in West Pokot. I didn't get the letter. And it is true. Dealing with the aftermath of the attempted overthrow of the Constitution of Kenya by criminals and dangerous people who almost burnt the Parliament of Kenya. We have a job to do. And we are not going to relent. I know there are people who want to politicize that exercise. We will be extremely firm and neutral. And I am informed by DCI that high-level prosecutions will ensue any time from now, of including political leaders who financed, and we have evidence they financed people to loot shops, to kill Kenyans, expose them to danger, and we cannot countenance the kind of mayhem we saw in July and June, for whatever reason. And that's why I've said this job is a bit, it's a very unpopular job. We will do it. So we are going to prosecute high-level people who assisted criminals to harm other people, to destroy infrastructure, and they even made an attempt to actually bring down such a serious institution like the Parliament of the People of Kenya. I submit.
Thank you so much, CS. And lastly, Waziri, I had mentioned to you that we discussed and we had a supplementary question, which of course you did reply, and I read the reply in Parliament. But taking into consideration the public interest in it, the missing of an MCA in Wajir County. So I don't know what different...
Honorable Chair, I have not gotten that request for statement. I'm just hearing it today. The first time I heard about it is through you, Chair, when you told me the member for Eldas would request an answer, a response on that. I want to plead with the committee to give me time prepare a statement. I'm aware of the matter, but I need an updated, verifiable statement. I am aware of what happened, and I'm aware that some progress is being made to make sure there is accountability. But I am afraid, Chair, I will not have a quality statement because I was not prepared before this meeting began. I submit.
To respond, Waziri, but I think I was honest to say that you did reply the first statement, which actually the members were not satisfied. They asked me